Sugarcane is one of the most emotionally gut-wrenching documentaries in recent memory.
When you're brought up in an institution like the Catholic Church, you have strict rules, and you went with their ethics.
Sugarcane comes from a duo of first-time feature filmmakers in Emily Kassie and Julian Brave NoiseCat, and together they explore the events and the generations of trauma that occurred at St. Joseph's Mission Residential School. These institutions lasted over 150 years, with the last school officially closing its doors in 1997. More recently, hundreds of unmarked graves have been found at many different residential schools, which is bringing to light the death of so many children within the system. Children who are not given even the respect of a proper burial. One of these schools was St. Joseph's Mission, where director Julian Brave NoiseCat's father was born near William Lake First Nation. His father, Archie, is one of several stories that is central to Sugarcane, and it's probably the one with the greatest, deepest emotional impact, although of course all of these stories deserve to be heard. Archie's story specifically is rooted in trauma from his very first days, as he was saved from an incinerator at the school where he was placed following his birth. He was put into an ice cream bucket and was found only when his cries, first mistaken for a cat, were found by someone working the night shift. There were many other children, babies, who were not so lucky, who did die in this incinerator, almost all of whom were children from sexual abuse as a result of the actions of priests at the school. It's these deeply personal stories that form the foundation of Sugarcane, and it's what separates it from so many other documentaries. The director's personal relationship with his father is put on camera for the world to see. There are some very vulnerable moments as they work together to learn more about his father's early days and the truth of St. Joseph's Mission. Alongside this specific journey, we also spend time with folks like Chief Rick Gilbert, who was one of 3 consecutive generations to be abused by priests at his residential school. He was abused, his grandmother was abused, and his mother was abused, which resulted in his birth. What is so interesting about Chief Rick Gilbert is that despite, or in a sense because of these traumatic experiences, he held on to faith in a God that brought tremendous pain. He even travels to the Vatican in the film to meet the Pope and purchases a souvenir bobblehead. In his own words, he states that there has got to be truth in there somewhere. I think it's clear that Sugarcane is an emotional journey, but I think it's also important to note some other things as well. We spend a lot of time talking about Indigenous trauma, and we should in order to move forward. It's something that needs to be addressed, but it's equally important that we celebrate Indigenous excellence, and Sugarcane is a perfect example of this. NoiseCat emerged from a difficult childhood to become a Rhodes Scholar, to attend Oxford University, to become a champion traditional dancer, and now to be a Sundance and Critics' Choice award-winning director. What he and Kassie have created here is, yes, a story of pain, but it's also a demonstration of artistry and an ability to weave stories that transcend time, place, and culture. Right from the opening shots, we're presented with filmmakers who are confident in controlling the pace of moving pictures. We're shown short yet purposeful glimpses into the lives of individuals affected directly or indirectly by the events being explored, and these portraits are intimate. We are also introduced to the land as a character in itself. The camera isn't afraid to linger on a moment with characters maybe only being a small part of the frame or out of the frame entirely. In this sense, what we would generally consider B-roll, quote-unquote, in so many documentary projects is treated with such respect that it almost inherently becomes elevated to something much greater. They also so purposefully preserve certain imperfections, be it this shakiness of handheld footage or a temporary loss of focus. These moments aren't really seen as a hindrance to the project, but rather essential for telling an authentic story. Even the editing incorporates these moments into very thoughtful transitions from shot to shot, and this perfectly kind of encapsulates the journey of so many whose stories are being told, having no choice but to take something broken and turn it into something beautiful. As oral storytelling is so central to Indigenous ways of knowing and being, it makes sense that we are given these stories from these individuals, these elders at times, without much, if any, editorialization. We hear from folks who share how they have felt dirty their whole life, people who have had 7 of their 10 siblings take their own lives. It's our job to simply sit and listen, just as the filmmakers themselves are doing. In some of the most emotional moments of the film, we simply hear the words being spoken by Julian Brave NoiseCat's mother without actually seeing her on screen. Instead, we have a slow pan of the land as we absorb the pain in her voice. This is truly a special project from 2 filmmakers who are some of the most talented storytellers of their time. They're 31 and 32 years old. I can quite honestly only begin to imagine the stories that are yet to come. Right now, Sugarcane is available to watch on Disney Plus in most major markets around the world, and it can also be watched on Hulu in the United States. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen, to watch, to engage in storytelling. Sugarcane is a special film, and I hope that you watch it. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks.